The purpose of this video is to show you how to download and enable the Verity Proctoring Web Browser extension to show you how to use that web browser extension in a practice test, and then to give you a brief overview of what the actual tests for this course are going to look like a little bit later. All right, so I'm going to use Google Chrome with this example. That's what Pellsippi recommends using. And so first off, I need to get into Brightspace. So navigate to Brightspace and log in. I'm going to pause this while I log in. So once you've logged in, you go to the content of the course. First thing I want to point out is that the second module is the Verity Online Proctoring module. Okay, I've got some getting started guides, lots of information that I've gotten from our IT department, things that I've developed myself just through going through this with other students in previous semesters. The page that I think might be most important for getting started is actually the Online Proctoring with Verity page. You open that up. There are plenty of guides, videos, screenshots. What you're going to want is to download the Verity browser extension. Then I'm going to show you how to verify yourself with that browser extension. Interestingly, this page does not provide a direct link that I can tell to the actual Verity extension. So I'm going to open up a new page. I'm just going to do a search for Verity browser extension Chrome. You'll want to add that to Chrome. Add the extension. Spinning wheels. You can view the extension if you click the little puzzle piece. You can even pin that extension. I like to do that. I also like to manage the extension, make sure it's going to work on everything I wanted to work on. So you do need to enable this allow incognito here. I would also recommend you allow access to URL files. All right, once those are done, we can close this tab for now. Make our way back to Brightspace. What we need to do is we need to verify ourselves with this. To do that, we go to Course Tools and Verity Proctoring. You should get a screen that pops up something like this, something about user setup and browser extension. You will not have visibility to these kind of things, but you should at least be able to see somewhere from this left side, browser extension, green check marks, and a URL set. In fact, if you even check on the little icon here, you should see that you're authenticated. That was the fun part. We actually need to use an incognito tab to be able to do the Verity proctoring tool. I'm going to open up an incognito tab. I'm going to try to navigate back to Brightspace. While it's loading, you might need to go back to your regular tabs and close them out because you're also not supposed to have extra tabs open. All right, I'm going to sign in with my stuff here and I'll be right back. All right, I have signed back in the incognito tab. Now I'm going to find the practice test. Week 3. Scroll down to the bottom, UJA Verity Practice Quiz. I've given directions here. I did not waste words, so please read them. Helpful things like if it asks you for a password, probably means you're doing something wrong. Start quiz. It's going to try to perform a pre-assessment check. Let it do its thing. First check is it making sure that your computer meets the requirements. You should be good here if you're green or orange. All right, so I pulled mine up. I am in incognito mode. I just got a blocked browser extension. So each one of these little boxes is basically checking to make sure I have everything here. Apparently I've got a Google Docs offline tab. I don't even know what that is. But if I go click on my extension settings, manage extensions, Google Docs offline, I probably installed that a dozen years ago. Go ahead and remove this. Let's get back out of here. See, all right, green check mark, green check mark. Additional tabs detected. Please close additional tabs. All right, I'm going to close the tabs. There we go. Green, green, green. Okay. Now, before I go next, I'm going to let you know that I'm using a screen recorder right here that puts me in this corner. It uses my camera. My computer only has one camera. So in a moment, it's going to ask me for use of my camera. So I'm going to end up stopping this recording of myself, but hopefully I'll still be able to narrate and do the screen sharing. Screen source, yes, entire screen, share, setting up camera. Camera is in use here. This is what I was talking about. All right, so now I'm doing the recording without the camera on. Let's try it again. Yes, okay. Now I'm in a different box. My microphone is working. That's good. Let's hit next. Take a photo of your face. Don't make faces. I'm being a joke. Go. Let's see. Scan ID card. So to scan the ID card, you're going to hold your license and you're going to hold it up into that square like you would if you were depositing a check. I'm going to pause the screen while I do this because, no offense, but y'all don't need to see my driver's license. All right, after I scan my license, I click next and it says I'm all right and ready to go. So let's try it out. So when I was doing this recording, it did shut off my microphone. But essentially, I'm explaining here the 3 questions to the test. First one is making sure that you're able to copy and paste text. Yes, you can. The next one is, are you able to open another tab? That's necessary because that's how we're going to download the files that we're going to use in the tests. So if I can copy and paste the text and I can open up new tabs, I say yes and yes. Third question is just simple arithmetic, and then you click submit. Once you click submit, you should see a progress bar get to 100% and say you're complete. When you close that tab, you should see a second tab that says that your test has been submitted. All right, so now let's go take a look at what the actual word test is going to look like. The word test is located in week 4. So we're going to scroll down to week 4. When you see the quiz, again, I did not waste time with words. Everything in here is super important for you to pay attention to. First, we'll do our pre-assessment check. Just like the previous time, we'll make sure that I'm green in all these areas. If I'm not, I need to take the action to get the orange or red markers off. I'm green. Set up my screen recording and select my screen. Set up my camera. I got to take photos of my face and my ID again. Now I am going to note that I'm recording this after the fact, so my voice is not going to match my image on the screen. There's only one question to this test. It requires downloading a start file, an instructions file, following those instructions to make edits to the start file, and then submitting that work as your answer to the test question. Now here's the thing. You might, when you download the start file and you click on it, you might have additional tab open. You might even get an error notification when you try to click away from the test saying that the assessment is blocked. That is okay. What's important is that you download the start file and the instruction file. You remember where those are so you can then go open them. And then when you do come back to the test, that assessment blocked notification will go away. You see, there it is. It says it's blocked. It's okay. I'll open up my start file. When I click on back on the test lights back up. I do want to note that the timer is still going during this time frame. Once you've downloaded the start file and the instruction file, you'll complete the instructions, the first line of the instruction being naming the file correctly. That does count for points. And once you've done that, you're going to add a file here, just like we did with that file management exercise. So I would navigate to my computer. I'll click on upload. Yes, I get the block notification. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to navigate to wherever I saved that completed test file. course, here in this example, I do not have it named right, so I would be losing points right there. Then I would submit the quiz. I'm going to again get my progress bars saying that I'm complete and that I'm complete. And for this quiz in the Excel final at the end of the class, I do manually grade these. I've got a rubric and all the things. I do expect to probably take 2 to 3 days to grade them and give the scores back into Brightspace, so you can keep an eye out for that. There are quite a few steps to get the Verity proctoring tool working. I understand that. We're going to work through it the best we can. That being said, do not wait until the last minute to try this. Get it started soon. At least get through the practice test as soon as you can if you haven't already. As I mentioned, the first instruction of the exam is to name the document appropriately. That is points, easy points. I've enabled the web browsers, these guys, as following. However, what I demonstrated was with Chrome. I'm also using a Windows computer. So if you're having issues with other web browsers or other computers, part of that is kind of buyer beware, but then also is that I might not personally have experience using that web browser using your type of computer. Therefore, I have left all the Verity FAQ stuff at the beginning of the course, like I showed at the beginning of this video, and I've also left information for the IT help desk for you to call them as well. Now, they're not 24/7, so again, I recommend starting this sooner in the week rather than waiting until the last minute. All right, with that, folks, I wish you guys luck. If you need anything, just let me know.